So I made a mistake. I know what you're thinking. It's strange for me too.
Shut up and sit down.
Ham Radio 2.0. Hey folks, my name's Jason, KC5HWB, and this is going to be a little bit of a one-off video series. Yesterday, I put up a video, not yesterday, a couple days ago, by the time this video posts, a couple days ago, I put up a video talking about FCC license fees and how they were coming in April, which we've known about for a while. We just didn't have a confirmed start date of when they're going to start charging us $35 for our licenses, new licenses, upgrades, and stuff like that. So I put up a video talking about how there was an announcement done that showed the fees would start on April 19th, about a month from now. Turns out there's a little bit more to the story than that, and quite frankly, I didn't do as much research as I should have, so it's mostly my fault. But one guy in Discord came along and said, hey, you should have checked with VEs before you put that up, and I'm like, I did. I talked to 2 VEs that same day and confirmed. And I didn't even, it wasn't even my website. The website I referenced was buy2wayradios.com, which they were referencing 2 other websites, which there was another website. I looked at ARRL. The ARRL website on the news section. There's nothing in there about it. There's probably someone in the ARRL website somewhere about it. They've made a statement since then, after I recorded that video, saying there's been a lot of confusion over this announcement. Basically what it was on April 19th, the rules go into effect, but the fees still don't have a confirmed date. They're saying this summer. The point of the video was that the fees were coming, and what I said towards the end of the video is go get your license now. That still stands. Eventually, we're going to have to pay $35 to get a new technician or a general upgrade or an extra upgrade. Those fees are coming. I was wrong, and a couple of the articles I referenced were also wrong about the start date, but I'm not wrong about the fact that eventually it's going to be here. I find it kind of odd how things work together. How one thing I read about 2 days ago kind of sort of ties in to a mistake, the fact that I made a mistake. Okay, let me explain what I'm talking about here. Guys, I'm a big nobody. Who am I? You can go read some QRZ articles, and you can read some Facebook articles, and you can even talk to other ham radio operators on YouTube. Nobody in the YouTubers bunch, all those guys and I get along really well. We're all good friends. I try to support their channels as much as I can, and I implicitly appreciate their support. But you can go find people who talk bad about YouTubers. You can go find other YouTubers who talk bad about me. I try not to do that, but, I'm human and flawed just like everybody else. But who am I, really? What makes this channel so special? What makes me so special? What makes this channel of 76,000 subscribers and counting, what makes this channel so different? And the answer is simple. You do. It's not anything I'm doing. There's no extra special word that I have to tell you that you can't hear elsewhere. I didn't go to school and get a master's degree or a doctorate in amateur radio. I can't teach you something unless I know it first. And I don't have the ability to learn stuff any faster or slower than anybody else does. So what makes this channel so special? I like amateur radio. I'm interested in it. I love operating it and finding out about new modes, and I share that with you. And that's about the extent of this channel. So I don't want to walk away thinking that, you know what, and I make mistakes. I've made a mistake. I put up a video 3 or 4 years ago saying something about, I think it was about, I don't even remember the subject right now. I said something wrong about a DMR radio. I think it was one of the Connect Systems radios, and I ended up pulling down the video completely and reshooting it. Okay. So I have made mistakes before. I'll probably make mistakes again. There's nothing perfect about me. And quite frankly, I'm kind of glad when someone calls me on it. I've always said that this channel is open to constructive criticism. And I'm kind of glad when some of you point out, hey, man, I think this actually meant that instead of that meaning this. A great example, now this wasn't a mistake on my part. A great example is recently in my best GMRS HT video, I pointed out how the BTEC GMRS V1 HT is listed at 2.5 watts. I said it's a 2.5 watt radio. It does this, does this, does this. I had half a dozen people comment in the section saying, no, this is a 5 watt radio. This is a 5 watt radio. I have one in my hand. It's a 5 watt radio. And I referenced back to BTEC, their own website, baofangtech.com. They're in North Dakota. I think that's right. I also said what state they were in. I said the wrong state. I said North Carolina and not North Dakota. They're in North Dakota, U.S. company. And on their website, it says that HT radio does 2 to 2.5 watts. And people wanted to argue, well, but it does 5. Well, I don't know that. I don't have one in my hand. I've had one in the past. I never put it on a power meter. I have a new one now, and I will be testing it. But people swear up and down it does 5 watts. Well, Baofeng Tech's own website says it does 2.5 watts. I'm just reading information that's out there. Is that wrong? I don't know. The manufacturer's website should have stuff that's accurate about their own product. Okay, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm getting it from a legitimate source. I'm not reading it on Facebook somewhere. Those of you who think you're reading legit information on Facebook, double check your sources. So there's not really anything special about me or this channel, and I certainly make mistakes. Okay, I'm sure you can point out many mistakes. If you've been watching me for a long time, I'm sure you can point out things that I say that are wrong. I might start making a channel of things that I say that are wrong, or making a playlist or something. I don't know. One recent example of what I'm talking about, how I was talking about things working together, I interviewed John and Lou and Sally on a recent live stream, and I posted that live stream to QRZ. John and Lou and Sally are from the Last Man Standing studios, part of the KA6 LMS club, and they're the ones kind of spearheading this special event that's about to start. It starts in a couple of days after the time of this original video is being posted. I recorded that live stream, or I live streamed an interview with them. I took that video, I posted it to QRZ, and some guy came along and said, and I was talking in the live stream about how I had traveled out to California and I'd been part of the studio crew and I'm part of the studio audience to watch part of the Last Man Standing video that was being recorded that night and operate from the station, the HF station they have set up on set there. One guy on QRZ came along and said, well, of course you do. You're a ham radio celebrity. This is the best response to that. This proves right here that I'm just, there's nothing special about me. So my friend Gary, KN4AQ, which if you go back and look at my channel, you will see lots of references to Gary and his channel, Ham Radio Now, that I have made in the past. Long story short, this channel started kind of as a result of Ham Radio Now. I did a 45-minute interview with Dennis on Hamdom Thoughts, his audio podcast, Dennis 86DM. Go listen to that, and I tell my whole story about how I got started, why I got started, why I do YouTube, and where I came from. But part of it was because of Gary, KN4AQ, and I love this response to the guy who said, I'm a ham radio celebrity. Gary says, what is a ham radio celebrity? Perhaps you mean someone who started from nowhere, then worked their tail off putting up together a string of shows that grew an audience over years and became popular, ? That is one way of being picked out of a crowd from limited privilege that can't be bestowed upon everyone. For 6 years, Last Man Standing selected many great ops from the pool of everyone who asked. Then someone dropped a big turd in the punch bowl. I don't know what he's talking about here. By messing with the cast and crew, abusing their privilege, quote, when they were invited. The 7th year, the last pre-pandemic year before production, guest ops were specifically invited because the crew trusted them. I got to be one of those ops. But Last Man Standing also had a message to get out, a way to expand their operation and involve more hams in a really fun exchange with the on-set station. The message was passed through all ham media, including YouTubers and podcasters. You know, those hams who worked their tails off to build an audience that was attractive to anyone who wanted to reach that audience. You can become a ham radio celebrity yourself if you want to. Are you willing to put in what it takes? ? Well said, Gary. Well said. That is an excellent point that he made. There is no such thing as a ham radio celebrity. There are schmoes out there like me that put up information on YouTube because I love ham radio. I put information out there, and it's because of you that this channel is the size it is. I didn't go out there somehow. I didn't email YouTube and said, hey, can you just go into your back end of your software and just add 75,000 subscribers to my channel? Thanks. No, that's because of you guys out there clicking on subscribe. And I'm humbled that so many people would be interested to watch what I have to say week after week. And even though I'm out there week after week, and even though I'm telling you stuff, and even though I'm sharing my experiences with you, believe me, most of what I've learned is by trial and error. I make mistakes. I don't mind admitting when I make mistakes. I don't mind people calling out the mistakes I make, calling me out for it. I don't want you to be a big jackwagon about it. Yet there is still such a thing as constructive criticism. And I think if you asked most YouTubers out there, especially those guys in the YouTubers bunch, those guys I'm close to, I can name a dozen of them right now off the top of my head if I wanted to. I don't want to speak for anyone specifically, but I bet if you were to go ask them, hey, have you ever said anything wrong or made a mistake on your channel? They'd be like, dude, oh yeah, all the time. I say stuff wrong all the time. Sometimes I correct it. Sometimes I miss it, and I watch the replay of the video, and you're like, oh, crap, I said that wrong, which I've done that a bunch. So don't get it in your head that everything you're going to hear on this channel is right. The $35 fee is coming. I didn't make that up. I was just wrong about when they announced it. There's some kind of rules that go into effect in April, but the actual fee doesn't start till later. Still on an unannounced date, as far as I can tell. Because if you go read an article here, it says one thing. Go read an article here, it says the other thing. I couldn't actually find the ARRL article before I recorded that video. I've read the ARRL statement since then, and the ARRL statement didn't specifically mention which misinformation they were talking about, but a lot of guys on Facebook were talking about, oh, it's starting. And I think ARRL was responding to that. It is what it is. ARRL has made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Everybody out there, you've made mistakes. The question is, can we learn and grow together? And I want to grow, and I want to help others grow, as evidenced by the fact I've brought on a lot of small channels and interviewed them and told you, the audience that subscribes to me, to go watch these other channels as well. And I'm going to do that again. I really like those small channels interviews with the 5 or 6 channels that are sub 1,000 views generally, sub 1,000 subscribers generally. I really like bringing on new channels and figuring out everyone else's perspective in amateur radio. Is very fun. Growth requires admitting that you don't know something and going and learning it, or admitting that you were wrong about something and correcting yourself and moving forward. Otherwise, how would you grow? Be honest with yourself and be honest with me. And thank you for holding me accountable. I want you to hold me accountable. I don't want to put bad information out there. I don't want to put purposefully misleading information out there. I mean, I might say stuff wrong. Sometimes I might say Baofeng instead of Baofeng. Sometimes I might be talking about a radio and say Kenwood instead of ICOM. Sometimes I might just say a date wrong about some kind of event that's upcoming. Okay? But, I mean, those are just common mistakes. It's not what I'm talking about. If I put something out there that's blatantly wrong, feel free to comment. Feel free to email me. Send me a text message. Not a big deal. Hit me up in Discord. That's great. I don't care about that. Don't be a jackwagon about it. You know, be friendly. I'll be friendly back to you. So the point of the video yesterday was this. Go get your amateur radio license now. Right now. Because those fees, again, regardless of what the actual fee start date will be, those fees are coming. They're coming. You're going to have to pay $35 for a 10-year license. That's $3.50 a year. Not that detrimental, in my opinion. But if you want to do it now, if it's something you've been thinking about, go do it right now. Get your tech. Get your upgrade right now. Hamstudy.org. Great place. Hamradioprep.com. 20% discount code with Jason20. Or watch the videos on this channel. Technician in General. I'm editing and working on the extra class. That's going to be posted soon. But there's free Technician and General classes on this channel right now. And there's a lot of other channels out there that have the same thing. Plenty of free information on YouTube. 73. Thanks for watching today, guys. Thank you for keeping me honest. Thank you for subscribing. And let's see how well we can grow together over the next few years. 73.